Welcome to the Angler Talk Podcast with Chris and Aaron. Brought to you by FishingMagicianTV.com.
What is up, everybody? Here it is. It's Chris and Aaron with another week-long episode of Angler Talk. How is it going, bro?
Good, buddy. Really good, man. We got a little problem with Skype here. I mean, I'm doing a little lag job, but other than Skype playing us out tonight, dude, I'm super excited, man. I mean, the people that we're interviewing better and better every friggin' episode. Fishing here in Florida, it's definitely getting better. We're more post-spawn than we were pre-spawn a couple weeks back. Definitely a lot of big bass are being caught in headwaters, dude, and the river's starting to, heat up too.
Definitely, man. Same thing I got to say about Jersey, man. The striper run is definitely on. They're killing it up in down in South Jersey, up in Raritan Bay. They're doing their thing. The big girls are starting to come around. I saw earlier today a couple of my Highmar buddies catching some 30-pound class fish, and it's looking really, really good. It's
looking like I need to book a ticket, dude, because it's killing me, bro. I see guys in my old backyard, man, just dragging the mullica, dude, white perch fishing, catching slobs. Not only white perch, but big old bass are hiding in there too. I mean, it's just, and then also, Chris, on top of the bass, I got guys down there back behind Absecon catching flounder already, dude. Like, oh man, I want to be home right now. But Florida's doing this thing though. I mean, we are catching really nice fish right now. So, stay tuned.
How's the snook running over there?
Snook have definitely heated up a little bit. It quieted down there for about a month, and then they literally are like, I don't know how to explain their kind of moods. I want to say it's almost like a cloudy day to a sunny day with stripers. One day you hit them in a certain spot and they're on fire. Next day you go back, same tide, same everything, and they're just not biting, lockjaw. But they've seemed to heat up over the past couple weeks, man. I've been doing pretty well. Redfish have increased tenfold, dude. There's guys catching almost 40-pound redfish at the inlet on live bait, even artificials now, dude. So we're gonna try and get out for some big reds here shortly.
Oh yeah, man. I know exactly what you mean, man. I went out last Thursday and we're fishing inside the bay, and the screen is lit up completely. I brought the cameras with me, everything. And just one fish when it first started to get sloppy. I mean, I know moon phases have a lot to do with the pressure and everything like this, but I'm looking at the screen, and there are literally dozens of stripers down there. And you're throwing everything at them. You're throwing swim shads. You're throwing nomad designs at them. I had one guy on the boat throwing bunker. And, it's just they did not want to bite. It was just straight lockjaw.
Yeah. No, it gets like that, buddy. It's tough, man. They get on the move, dude, and they shut their mouth and don't want no parts of it.
Absolutely, man. So we got a special guest interview this week. We got Vance Zahorski over from Line Cutterz. Big name in the industry and just an awesome overall dude, man. This is the epitome of the guy that you want to be like. You want to keep his humbleness and his kindness. And I hope you guys enjoy this interview.
Yeah, it's a good one, guys.
Yeah, and just don't forget, if you like what you're watching, hit that subscribe button, smash that thumbs up, let us know what you think, get in the comment section, leave a review on the streaming services, let us know, and it also helps us help find other fishermen find us. That came out really wrong, but it's okay. All right, guys, enjoy this interview with Vance. 1. Hey, what's going on, guys? Here we are with Vance Zahorski from Line Cutterz. How we doing, brother?
Good. How are you, Chris?
I can't complain, man. Springtime is coming. The weather's getting better, and I'm ready to get off to the races up here.
Heck yeah, man. I heard it's been cold up there.
Yeah. Lately, in the past couple of days, it's been in the mid-50s, shooting up a couple of days to the 70s. But, man, we're tired of those real 30-degree days, man. That's horrible. Yeah, so, Aaron, how's it going down there in Florida?
Well, I can't complain about no 30-degree days. I really can't. I think I share a little bit of that weather that you have in Texas. You're in Texas now, right, Vance?
Yes, sir. Yep, you got it.
Yeah. So, I mean, it's probably pretty much close to that. I mean, we've had some real windy days for the past week and a half now, where it's keeping a lot of guys off the water. But I mean, other than the wind, I mean, 80, 85, somewhere around there,
The wind's been driving us nuts. It's been blowing at 25 or 30, and it's actually been ripping our flags off the front of our store. It's been horrible.
Yeah, I always tell everybody, I can deal with the rain, I can deal with the cold, but the wind literally has me on a whole nother level of depression because you can't take the boat out, you can't get on the water, you can't set up for fishing. I mean, it's rough. The wind's rough.
Yes,
man. So Vance, man, wanted to get you on here because I know you are a big name in the industry and probably one of the most humble guys that I've seen throughout all the social media. With all your success, you stay humble, you stay true to the sport. And, just want to talk to you a little bit about Line Cutterz. You designed something that every fisherman pretty much needs, and it's like the most practical thing out there, but nobody thought about it, but you did. So how did the concept for the Line Cutterz ring and all that stuff come out?
Well, just like a lot of your viewers, I'm in the same boat, just fishing literally since I was 4, started off fishing on a dock in Wisconsin. And as I got older and started, instead of using a worm hook and a bobber catching perch and bluegill, I started, getting into plastics and bass fishing, and then you're changing lures and snag, and then I started needing to cut fishing line more because I wasn't just using a cork or a float. And that's when the frustration began, and it carried through until my 30s. And 2 chipped teeth, stepped on a knife shark fishing, and that's kind of that light bulb moment where it's like, man, there's got to be a better way. And as cliche as that sounds, I hate, you hear people say that, and it's like, oh, everyone says the same thing. But it literally, that's what happens is you just get frustrated, and that frustration is that's where the innovation comes from. Is there's got to be a different way to do this, and that's how Line Cutterz started.
Yeah, I mean, I've had a Line Cutterz ring, I would say probably going on 4, maybe 5 years now, and I mean, it's so easy, man. You're on the boat and you want to swap out. I don't like using quick snaps. I'm a direct tie kind of guy. It's just so easy. I wear it on my left ring finger and swipe and tie up, and I'm ready to go, man. It's freaking awesome. And I know you also got the little cutters that you put on the panels or the cooler or whatnot, and they're so easy to use it, and they're super sharp. I mean, they go through 100-pound test, 200-pound test with ease and no issue at all.
Yeah, the ring. It's funny you say that because I still wear a Line Cutterz ring when I kayak fish, and there's things that can happen. If it can cut 100-pound braid like butter, well, you can accidentally cut your line. That can happen. I originally invented it for shark fishing on the beach. I wanted something on my finger, and I wanted to be able to, if I needed to cut a shark, free quickly, I could. Usually I'm just wearing my board shorts, and I don't want heavy pliers or a knife in my shorts pocket, so for me, that made the most sense. And then what happened is my customers started putting them on their fishing rod handles, and kids started putting on snapback, their hats, which I thought was so creative. They wear their hats backwards and they strap their ring right around their plastic snap. And they were cutting frogs, the taglines off 65-pound braid off a frog right without even taking their hat off or without even looking.
Nice.
So, yeah, people started, putting them and people were putting them on their boat rails. They would cut the strap off and zip tie it on the burn bar on a boat. And that's really what inspired the new idea. Like, I need a stick-on cutter or a zipper pull cutter. And now we have one that we wanted ICAST, one that clips right on your hat. So it's just, we've taken that original idea and just now we've got 4 different products and, just keeping innovating.
That's
Vance,
awesome.
I mean, it's Chris. I can't believe you've had these Line Cutters all this time, and I have not gotten one for a Christmas present, dude. Because I'm the most thick-headed person when it comes to fishing, dude, you'll probably ever meet. Right? I knew you were out there. I saw the product. I was super into the product, and as soon as I saw it, it was one of them things to where if a close buddy of mine didn't have it, like it just went out of my mind. And I've been dealing with the frustration of trying to find my friggin' pliers on the boat. Or when I find my pliers, they've been left out and they're full of rust, dude. and they won't even cut my line. So, Vance, when I went on the website and I saw that you had the stick-on option for the center console or the cooler or wherever, you sold me. I mean, the ring friggin' sold me 8 years ago, but the stick-on option is like, it's got my name all over it, dude. To have the option of being able to snap real quick, I mean.
Well, Aaron has the pleasure of owning a boat, so he gets to have places to store them better than I can. I mean, usually me, it would be on top of a tackle box or a cooler, but Aaron does have that pleasure of having a boat, and So a lot of people know who Vance Zahorski is, and I really hope I just didn't bomb your name, but I remember I watched the show Shark Tank a lot as somebody who is trying to be or is in the middle of being an entrepreneur. You watch shows like that to get an idea. And when I saw this, this product come on to the stage, and I'm like, okay, somebody's talking about fishing. Now this got really interesting. And and I saw it and I was just like, oh man, that's a great product. And then I heard the price and it's just like, okay, that's a game changer, because people who normally people who make something first in the industry try to get insane with it. But you have something that, what do they retail for? $12.99 or something like that?
Yeah, between $9.99 and $12, but based on where you find them.
Yeah, and I'm just like, man, this is great, man. So how life-changing was that for you being on that show?
Yeah, I mean, looking back, you have better clarity, and there's a couple of big things that came out of that. One is the media exposure, which when I was there, they said, hey, don't mess up, or if you choke, just keep going on. If you mess up your pitch or you get nervous, they say, because it's and this is what the producer said, it's a $5 million advertising opportunity. And he broke it down. He said, if Coca-Cola did a 12-minute segment of ABC primetime back in the day, primetime was Shark Tank was primetime. He said 12 minutes, you're looking at basically a 12-minute commercial for your business. They said that's $5 million in airspace if a brand wanted to buy a 12-minute commercial. So that media exposure was absolutely amazing. And then on top of that, you have to go through 6 cuts. So it really helped me learn a lot about my business. Like at the time, I had no idea what my customer acquisition was, or, I didn't really have a firm grip on my financials. I was just, balls to the wall, just selling as fast as I could. And I needed cash because we blew through my first 5,000 units. And like, how am I going to pay for 20,000 units? Because if I just buy 5 again, I'll be sold out. Somebody knock me off. So, there was the learning about your business. There was the media exposure from that. And then just as a bringing validation to, okay, like, this isn't just some pipe dream. This idea has traction if the Shark Tank, they're willing to put me on TV. So it definitely changed my life for sure.
That's awesome, man. And business is like a science, like not everybody gets it. There's probably billions of things that I know nothing about, which, that's life. Every day you learn something new. And, it's awesome to see somebody who's like us, just a regular blue collar guy, and you got your break, man. And for that, I'm so happy for you, and I wish you continued success. You know what I'm saying? But excuse me. Let's talk about Line Cutterz a little bit more. You sell the rings, you sell the stick-ons and all that stuff. I see the merch. What else is the Line Cutterz brand? What do you guys have out there?
So we got apparel. We do, and it's just light apparel. Like we're not an apparel business, but the media has really helped us out. On 2018, Damon brought me on The View. That was national TV as well, and that was live. So flew out to New York for that. So the media has allowed people to really want to cheer on the dream chaser. So I always put, hashtag chasing dreams and carpe diem, and we're pretty straightforward, and a lot of people respond to that. So we've gotten into apparel. We just launched a kayak fishing rod, and we're using kind of that momentum and the loyalty from our fans who want to see the dream chaser succeed. that's helped us expand into other areas. So yeah, we've got a retail store. We bought 4 commercial properties in Texas, opened up a store, and now it's a great outlet for some of these new products we're selling.
That's awesome, man. The great state of Texas has a lot to offer fishing wise, and definitely the people out there is phenomenal. And of course,
Yeah.
You know, as your residential fat guy, you can't forget about the good old barbecue in Texas.
Oh yeah.
No, I mean, to be honest, Vance, I mean, you're in one of them spots that me and Chris talk about all the time, getting to be able to fish. I mean, the sea trout, the speckled trout in Texas, dude. I mean, the drum fishing, the flounder fishing. I see it all the time online. I mean, it's just, it looks like you guys are in the mecca for, you know, inshore fishing. I mean, even offshore too.
Yeah, it's great. And one really neat thing about this job, you know, I was at my job for 10 years before I decided to literally push all my poker chips in the middle of the pot and chase this harebrained idea. But now that we do trade shows, you know, I loaded up my truck and I would literally drive to Rhode Island. I'd do Mass, New York, West Coast, California. And what's so cool about this business, starting a business in the fishing industry, is when I'm doing a show, I've gotten to hoop net for lobster in Catalina Island, which I had no idea. We met some random guys at a trade show, and you know, this is before I was on Shark Tank, and they're like, "Hey, bro, you know, we just had fun at the booth. We're just outgoing. We talked to all our booth neighbors, and they're like, dude, we're going hoop netting for lobster. You want to go?" And then the lower Quinault River in Portland, I caught a steelhead from, again, just a booth neighbor. And then on the East Coast, I've gotten to do some awesome fishing on the East Coast, Florida. With Bikini Bow Fishing, Eddie, who runs that show, he's like, "You want to get scallops and catch some shark?" And so it's really allowed me to fish in places that I never, ever would have dreamed of fishing. It's literally, it's unbelievable.
And I agree. I mean, like me and Chris talk about this all the time. If this podcast, or even, you know, individually, our careers don't take off in the direction we've always wanted, the connections that we meet through this podcast, like the previous host, I mean, we had a guy on, Scott. He's a charter captain out on the Great Lakes. I mean, the connections that you meet to be able to fish some of these remote areas, I mean, that pays its way alone. It really does, for me personally, you know.
Absolutely, man. I mean, but by no means do we do this for money at all, because we don't make any. But, you know, we do have dreams and aspirations of fishing all over this country. I mean, whether it's freshwater or saltwater, there is so much here to catch. You know, growing up in New Jersey, we're a little spoiled because we have so much of everything. I mean, we have the entire Jersey Shore to fish for. We got unlimited saltwater species here, but we also have so much freshwater. I mean, you talk anything from pike to muskie to pickerel to bass, smallmouth. I mean, there's just such an array of species in New Jersey. But yet there's so many places in the world, like for instance, Aaron knows my top dream destination fishing right now is Louisiana. You know, I really want to go out there and catch some fish, because over here in New Jersey, when we go on a tuna run, except for when they're in close, usually you have to go out 100 miles. For you boys down in the South, man, you guys go out, what, maybe 15, 20, if that?
Well, yeah, Venice, Louisiana. I mean, you're literally in blue water, like immediately.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, and then the lingcod out in California, and the sturgeon. Sturgeon is one of the fish that's probably at the top of my bucket list. But in New Jersey, it's a prohibited species to catch. They're very well protected because of all the years of being slaughtered just for caviar. But I mean, this is something that I would love to do, man. And Texas is definitely in the top 5 or 6 places I definitely want to fish, man. And I still have not caught my my redfish yet, my red drum. And I've seen some of your pics that you've posted, man. And you get after it out there.
Dude, anytime, come down. Literally, if you just show up, stay with us, and we'll go kayak fishing. I'll throw you in a kayak from the store, and we'll put you on a bull red. It's an absolute blast.
Man, that's freaking awesome. So as far as you go, like I obviously you're very, very busy with the business and everything like that. But hopefully you get some times to go sneak out. What is probably your favorite fish to target?
Definitely tarpon. That's my number one. I got it for my last birthday. I got a big tarpon tattoo on my arm, and that's my soul. It just tarpon for me is, there's just nothing like it. And I've been fortunate enough to catch a lot of species, but there's just something about tarpon, to see a fish that big that has that much endurance, that can jump. And it's pure pandemonium chaos. And to me, that adrenaline, I'm just an adrenaline junkie. That's it. So tarpon is definitely my number one. Locally, there are tarpon in Texas. I've tried getting on board with a group that's trying to bring them back. Believe it or not, this was one of the tarpon capitals of the country.
Right.
Yeah, which a lot of people don't realize that about Texas. But if it's not my dream species, just for locally and not traveling, I really like flounder, and that's because I love eating flounder. So flounder, redfish, and speckled trout, those are just I jump in the kayak, and that's just my kind of heaven. It's close. It's 30 minutes from where I live, and they're great to eat. Flounder, redfish, speckled trout, and I usually catch and release. But when I want to harvest, that's my favorite thing to fish for. And then bass. I'm a big largemouth bass guy too. That's a blast.
Nice. So listen, Chris, a lot of guys I don't think know this, but I was doing some research a while back, and the tarpon population in Texas years back, it's not what it used to be. I've heard. Again, I have no experience with this, but there's a small group of guys that really are dialed in on catching tarpon when the time is right. And one of my buddies was telling me, he went down, fished with this small group, and he's like, I was freaking blown away. He goes, they are so in tune with when the bait is running in a certain area. You got guys out there fishing for other species, have no friggin' idea tarpon is running where it's running. And they're just, they're murdering huge fish. Again, not harvesting, but catching monster tarpon where guys are like, I didn't even know there was friggin' tarpon here,
To be honest with you, I had no idea there was tarpon in Texas until Vance just said it. I had no idea. I got a funny story about tarpon. When I was in Florida, I lived out there for about 6 months, and I talked to the locals, and all the locals hate tarpon fishing.
Yeah,
and I didn't understand it why. And fishing is such a big thing in Florida, but people fish to eat. And they're just like, oh, I can't eat that crap. They won't let us keep it, so you can have it. I'm just like, really? Just the sheer power of that fish and that amazing fight that it gives you. I don't think I could ever be not satisfied catching a tarpon,
It's like here, bull redfish. It's the same thing, a 45-inch bull red or 48-inch bull red. I still love catching them. And a lot of the people that come into my store, especially the guides or they're just, it's almost a nuisance. Like, dang it, I just hooked a 40-inch red, and it tired me out for no reason. It's just some, to me, I'll catch them all day. I don't care. I just, I love fish. I'll do it all day.
Yeah. The first tarpon I got was a couple of years ago. I went down to the Florida Keys for the first time, and my first charter was supposed to be for tarpon. And we're in the marina, and I'm looking, and there's tarpon everywhere. So I look at my fiance, and I said, you know what? Let's not waste the charter on this species. Let's go catch something else, and I'll just come back here later on when nobody's around, and I catch them. So we do that. We fill up the cooler. We go have a phenomenal dinner in a place called Lazy Days. And then I come back. It's about 11 o'clock at night, and I had really no idea you're not supposed to fish there. So I cast out a yellowtail snapper carcass and hook into a tarpon, and this fish is all over the place. This is probably like a 45 to 50 pound class fish. Nothing too crazy, but it's freaking awesome. It's the most amazing thing I've ever caught in my life. And then a lady in I guess the dishwasher come outside, and they're like, what are you doing? I'm like, fishing. And they're like, you're not supposed to fish here. I said, I didn't know that. I'm a tourist. And then she's like, look in front of you. I looked down, and I literally did not see this before. There's a big freaking sign that says no fishing. I'm like, oh, man, this really bites. I did not see this. But I didn't land the fish completely. I touched the leader, which counts as a land, but to me, no, I didn't get to hold it because I was on a pretty big dock, and it was quite a ways up, and I knew I would have snapped the line. So what I did was I got it, and I just popped the hook out. I literally saw the hook fly out of its mouth and it swam off. But that was probably the most amazing fish up until that point that I caught. Hands
down. Vance, I wish I could sit here and tell you a story about this friggin' mega, tarpon I've caught. Bings, I'm right down here in Sebastian Inlet, but Chris knows this. I go out to this inlet and we don't have a problem catching really world-class snook. I mean, beautiful redfish, 40-some friggin' inches, really nice reds. But when it comes to the tarpon, dude, right? I take this boat all the way up this river. I watch these things roll. I watch them porpoise. I'm throwing blue claws at them. I'm throwing, baits off the bottom and I'm jigging it back to the boat. I'm live lined in ladyfish, The only time I get these suckers to bite is when I'm at the inlet. I'm not expecting it, and they bend my hook every time. I don't care how light the drag is, dude. I don't care what the current is. I got this friggin' dragon on the end of my line, and I'm like, oh my god, this is it. This is my time, and I pull the hook back every friggin' time on them, man.
God, that's still though just that shot of adrenaline. Like, I don't care who you are, when you're sitting there or how much you fish. When you're sitting there and that drag, I mean, the tarpon 0 to 60, and I mean, well, I don't even know. I wish I knew, but I bet even when your hook gets bent and you're all mad, is your heart not pumping out of your chest?
My knees are shaking, dude, and I'm screaming,
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's epic. It really is.
There are fish out there that I don't think, however old we get or how long we've been doing this, that the moment you hook into it, man, you still feel like a kid, and to me, tarpon is definitely one of those fish.
And permit's another one. Permit's probably a close second.
Oh, yeah. Man, well, Vance, you just hit the nail on the head. That is my #1 bucket list fish to catch, and I still haven't got one. But when I was in Florida, I really didn't get the chance to target them, and they weren't really around. But I've heard that, late January, February is the time to get them down there, and man, I can't wait.
Well, if you ever want to laugh, you got to look up. I think it's either Permit Miracle Catch or Miracle Catch Permit on YouTube. There's a rock pile. We go to the Keys once a year, and rock pile in a certain spot. And on slack tide, this in the Keys, on slack tide, you drop a crab, and it's got to be slack, right on the top of that rock pile. And the permit, after the crabs, are flying by and they hook on, they just grab onto that rock pile. The permit come when it's slack tide and just sit there and eat all the crab off of this rock pile right by the bridge pile on number 3. So 3 years in a row, a permit broke off. And this is when I lived in Arizona, actually, for a short stint. And so the 4th year, I hook a permit, the same rock pile, and the thing swam between the bridge supports. And I'm like, I can't go through a heartbreak after waiting a year. After 3 years, I've been trying to catch a permit. In the same exact situation, it broke me off. So the 4th year, I hook it. It swims under the bridge. The captain of the boat drives up right to the bridge, and I jump out of the boat. Again, this is all filmed. I jump out of the boat, tread water. While I'm keeping my line tight, he drops, pulls back, picks me up on the other side. I climb back in the boat and land it. And that was my first permit.
Man, that's freaking awesome. Well, what was the size on that?
Gosh, honestly, it's been so long. Maybe 25 pounds. Like, it wasn't anything massive.
Still really nice
fish.
Yeah.
Well, you said the bridge. I think I know where you're talking. You talking about by the 7 Mile Bridge?
Yeah.
It's probably maybe 30 feet. 40 feet from the bridge, that rock pile you're talking about?
Yeah, there's a third pylon.
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. I used to fish that a lot. Man, so one other thing that I've noticed that you've done, and I every time I see your logo, I'm like, yep, that's the guy who did it. You turned the fishing industry very, very green. Ever since Line Cutterz came out, there are so many different companies that model everything around the color green. You know what I'm saying? And what is so special about the color green?
Man, you know what? I can't really take credit for it. Green, I think, is just in general, a pretty popular color for the fishing industry. When I wanted to do green, I looked up studied colors, like there's red, and different colors trigger different things in people's minds, right? And you got about 3 to 5 seconds to capture a buyer walking by your product on the shelf. So green was one of the buyer colors, but also for the eco-friendly movement, that's ultimately what there's such a positive connotation to the color green that I figured if General Electric and these big multi-billion-dollar companies are promoting green in their stuff, then in a subconscious way, having green in my packaging and on my truck or whatever would trigger that positive. You know, they're just getting bombarded by green this, green that, you know, as far as the eco-friendly stuff. And I'm like, well, I love green and black. And it has the buyer trigger as one of the good colors to use for buyer triggers. And there's millions and millions and billions of dollars getting pumped into the ecological, you know, green friendly. So that's why I picked green.
That definitely makes sense. I didn't think about it in that way, but now just talk about it. It definitely does make sense.
I mean, you can only respect the science behind it, man. Really, you know. I mean, I love that whole aspect of like driving down the road of you know, digging out the science behind what you're doing, dude. And I mean, that's pretty deep. You know, I don't think I would have ever even thought of looking up a buyer guide to a color pattern. You know, but that's where you got to be, I guess. You know, and that's really smart, man. I like that.
Well, you know what's so cool about all that stuff, and the more I get into business, is the more I've learned. I've been had some really cool speaking gigs where I'll get to fly out and speak at high schools or colleges. I was at Lincoln, Nebraska at their summit deal there. They had a Shark Tank summit for their entrepreneurial program at Lincoln, Nebraska, and you know, some of the things I talk about. One is, you know, life is short. That's my message. You know, like, you only got one shot on planet Earth, and whether you believe in evolution or going to heaven or you don't believe in God or whatever, like whatever your beliefs, you're in that one body and that one mind one time. So, you know, one of my messages is you got one shot, so go for it. And the other message, part of my message, is everything you could ever want to know about business is online. You know, like, I mean, I learned about tooling. I had no idea what a tool was for making injection molding. I didn't know anything about a provisional patent or a non-provisional patent or, you know, a trademark or trade name and intellectual. I didn't know any of that. I didn't know any good patent attorneys. I didn't know that engineering firms charge $100,000 to get a product to market. You know, so everything that I've done is pretty much self-taught, and it's, you know, and it just like color, like, God, what color should I use? I know, I'll just look it up online, and then it's like, holy cow, like just in color alone, you could do a you know, a thesis on color of buyer signals, you know.
Right.
Everything's out there online. It's unbelievable.
I hear you, man. And you know, to the kids who watch this show, I want you guys to take a look at Vance, and this is the definition of hard work pays off. I mean, you took something that everybody needed, you know, you stayed humble with it, and you made a big success with it, and for that, you know, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, kudos, bub.
I appreciate that, man. I'm still a tiny fish in a big industry, you know, but we found a recipe for success, and it's literally whatever it takes and passion. And that's the magic recipe, is just literally balls to the wall, whatever it takes, and be in an industry that you absolutely love. And today we got new Striker gear in, and I'm sitting here talking to you guys right now in these new Striker fishing shorts, right? Like, I just got our Line Cutterz shirts in, and like, I mean, it's like Christmas. You know, so my store now is literally like being in a toy store, like a Toys R Us when I was a kid. I was just like, wow, you know? And so passion and just balls to the wall, and it's amazing what you can do.
Absolutely,
man. Listen, I'll be honest, man. When I love doing podcasts like this, especially not only where they're able to kind of just listen along, but they're able to watch something like this visually, actually connect with the either owner of a company or, a bait shop owner, because it gives you a window behind the name of a company or a brand or a product. And it allows the listeners and even the viewers to connect with who you are on a whole different level than just walking into the store or buying offline, And I love that about you, man. I really do, because it's like super humble, super upfront. This is what I have to give. This is what I have to offer, and it's rewarding, man, and it's humbling, really.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I know quite a few very successful people, and they have absolutely zero humility. And I always tell them, I say, look, man, I'm a nobody. You're a big somebody. But with that attitude, you're not going to last very long. And a few of them haven't lasted already, So, I mean, it's awesome that you stay like that. And it's the utmost best thing to have in the world is an attitude like that.
Well, thanks, man. And honestly, like, money or having a store or commercial prop, like it doesn't, I'm literally no different. I mean, I'm not, successful. Yeah. I mean, we've been able to do some really cool things, but I mean, I'm still working, right? So I wouldn't say I'm super successful. I have a couple of lucky breaks, but I'm no different than my employees, literally. And that's the way I treat them. Like, some of the things my team says to me in a joking manner, but it's like, at some of the employers I worked at, I would have been fired on the spot when, I allow them to joke with me and say things, that an HR firm would die about, so we have a fake write-up board, but, just because I have a product or got lucky on a TV show, I'm no different than anybody that loves fishing. I mean, that's who I am. I'm just a fisherman that freaking loves fishing. That's it. I mean,
I hear that, brother. Well, man, we're running just about out of time, man. But anybody who wants to check out your products, what's the website?
It's www.linecutterzwithaz.com, and we're in 12 countries on Amazon now. So I know some of your listeners are international, which is awesome. Yeah. Congratulations to you guys for doing what you're doing, but you can order them on Amazon.com too.
Yeah, on that note, big shout out to the people who listen out in Australia. And there will be a link in the description below. Once again, Vance, thank you so much for your time, brother. We really appreciate having you on, man. Thank you.
It was a true honor, buddy. Thank you so much. And I'd love to fish with you guys someday. That to me would be a blast. So if you're ever in Texas, call me. We'll have a blast. And I'm dying to catch a bluefin and a tog. That's a bluefish.
Let's make that happen, Chris.
Oh, absolutely, man. Get your butt over to Jersey. We'll make that happen.
Bluefish and tog are on my bucket list. So,
we gotta use super light tackle for sure. That's how you're gonna really understand the fight and enjoy it.
All right. So I just want to close with that because I'm dying for it, man.
Awesome, absolutely. All right, brother. Thanks.
Hey, take care, you guys. Thanks so much.
Peace.
Good talking, buddy.
Oh man, that was a great time talking to Vance, man. The dude is so passionate about fishing. I love it. You know what I'm saying? It's just, it's awesome
Chris, when you listen. You knocked it out of the park with this one, Bub. I'm not even gonna joke, dude. Like, me and Chris have an inside thing going on with the guests that we invite on the show. I believe Chris has completely knocked it out of the park. Babe Ruth the hell out of this one, dude. You did. I gotta give it to you.
I try, man, but it's all about just finding good people in our industry. And, there are a lot of people in our industry that are in it just for the money. But, the people that I try to bring on, people, and the epitome of that definition is guys like Vance, guys like Captain Scott, guys like Frank. They love this industry. They have a passion for it. And, above all, they still love to go out and fish. It's not just, I'm here to make the money and run. No, these guys are lovers of our sport, passionate about it. They want to see our sport go on for years and years and decades. And just talking to guys like that, you can hear and sense the passion in their voice when they speak. And just an awesome person overall.
Yeah. You know, listen, I'll tell you, Chris, it almost falls back to like what my grandmother said to me growing up. You know, you are who you hang out with. I hated when she used to say that because it used to hit home so hard for me. You know, you surround yourself with people you want to be like. You know, you interview guests on, you know, topics that, you know, you hold dear to your heart. And, you know, you also have guests on that you know, try to inspire to be like, you know, that you want to, you know, possibly become, or, you know, that you share a like passion, you know. And I tell you, Vance was that guy, man, that, you know, if anything, you want to strive to at least hold some of the values that man, if not all the values that man shares, man. I mean, it's just, you know, I can go on and on about the, you know, the work ethic and, you know, the humbleness that Vance has, but I mean, literally his product speaks for himself for sure, you know?
Yeah, and don't get me wrong. I mean, the man puts in his hours and pays his dues without question, does a lot of charity work, and that's just freaking awesome, man. But it's about that time. We're running out of time. And we gotta say thank you to everybody who listened and watching on YouTube and all the streaming services. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, smash that thumbs up. Let us know what you think. Leave a comment, leave a review. Let us know how we're doing. We appreciate it. We always look to it, and it also helps other fishermen find us. So until next week, guys, tight lines. We're out. I'm Chris. He's Aaron. Peace.
See you guys.